Welcome to the Chad Slagle Show, coaching you to and through retirement, where planning meets purpose. Chad Slagle isn't just a financial professional, he's a coach dedicated to helping you take control of your financial future. With years of experience guiding families towards secure and fulfilling retirements, Chad is here to empower you with the tools, strategies, and confidence to make smart decisions with your hard-earned dollars. Coaching you to and through retirement isn't just his promise, it's his passion. This is the Chad Slagle Show. Now, let's hear from the coach.
Welcome to the Chad Slagle Show. I'm Amy Sharp. Joining me is the coach, Chad Slagle. He is the president and founder of Slagle Financial. Your 401k and workplace retirement accounts can be powerful tools, but it's easy to feel confused about how they work. Today, we're helping you take control of your retirement savings. Chad, thanks for joining me once again. It's always good to be with you.
Absolutely. Good to be with you as well, Amy.
I think it's important to start with the basics on this one. Let's just go through what is a 401k and really why is it so important for us in retirement?
Well, when we talk about 401ks or financial planning in general, 30, 40 years ago, you didn't need to watch TV shows like this. 30, 40 years ago, 80% of American workers had a pension. So you worked real hard, and whether you wanted to or not, your employer took that money out of your paycheck every pay period. They set that money to the side, and all of a sudden when you retired, the only decision you had to make was either I'm going to take 100% for myself, or if something happens to me, I'm going to make sure my spouse is taken care of. However, today, Amy, less than 20% of American workers have a pension. So now I hope you worked hard enough. I hope you made the right decisions. I hope you saved up enough money because all of a sudden when you retire, here's this lump sum. I hope you don't make a mistake because now you are in control of this money. So those vehicles that you're in control of now are your 401ks and other company plans. So really, the burden is all on you as an individual. There's the days of the government or your employer taking care of you are gone. Now the burden is all on you.
It is a lot of responsibility, and I think it's why a lot of people feel this is a very daunting topic sometimes. Tax advantages, do these accounts offer those, and how, why do they matter so much?
Absolutely. So when you put money into a 401k or any kind of plan through work, you have what's called pre-tax contributions. In other words, you're able to put that money into your retirement accounts before you're taxed on that money. So contributions to a traditional 401k are typically made with pre-tax dollars unless you're doing a Roth 401k. It reduces your current taxable income, potentially lowering your tax bill, and it may hopefully it places you in a lower tax bracket. And all those contributions that you put in there over that 30 or 40 year period, all those contributions grow tax deferred. So all that growth, you're not paying tax on that either.
Okay, some people do misunderstand their contribution limits. Can you kind of walk us through that and tell us what that looks like?
Yeah, so your 401k contribution limits for 2025, employee salary deferral limit is $23,500. Now, if you're over 50 years of age or older, you can contribute an extra amount, usually $7,500 as a catch-up contribution.
Okay, as I think about those limits, the employer matches come into mind. How should people be thinking about those?
Well, every
company's different.
Every company's different in the contracts and what they put in. The thing I would tell you, it's the fastest and easiest way to grow your retirement savings, and you always want to take advantage of that. Whether it's 3%, 6% or more, that's free money that your employer is giving you. You definitely want to take advantage of that. Not contributing enough to your get you full match, you're leaving money on the table. And a lot of people, when you get to the point where hopefully your kids are getting to the point where they're out of the house and you have extra money coming in and maybe you have 10 to 15 years before you retire, you want to be putting as much as you can. That $23,500 plus a $7,500 catch up, you want to put as much as you can over the next 5 to 10 years before you retire to give you that bump.
I want to go back to the contribution limits that you were talking about earlier. How important is it for us to pay attention when those changes take place and have that advisor by our side to kind of make sure we're up to speed on what that means for us?
Well, let me give you an example. Let's say you make $60,000 a year and your employer matches you 100% up to 3%. You contribute 3%. So let's say you just put in $1,800. They contribute $1,800. That's a 100% immediate return on your investments. And just think about if your salary is $100,000, $200,000, $500,000 or more, and you're taking advantage of that. Again, that's 100% immediate return on your investment. So you definitely want to take advantage of that.
You mentioned 401k. I don't know, history lesson here. 401k hasn't been around that long. I mean, it has been, 80, it was late 70s, early 80s?
Yeah, in the 70s.
That's still a few years ago for me, right?
It is. Well, yeah, we were young back then. It's been around, but again, it's the main retirement vehicle. Right. In the 70s and 80s, the main retirement vehicle were pension plans. Pension plans, really, not that they're no more, but very few employers still allow you to contribute and have a pension. Where you retire, that monthly income is going to come in every month for the rest of your life, no matter how long you live. And if you set it up properly, for the rest of your spouse's life as well.
Yeah, I remember not knowing, anything about my grandparents' retirement. They weren't telling their granddaughter anything, of course, but I just knew that my grandfather had that pension and it was so secure. And do your clients feel like a little not as secure with the 401k option and Social Security? You just have to work a lot harder, like you said in the beginning.
When you retired, you really didn't have to do anything. You retired, you did, as I mentioned earlier, you didn't have to do any financial planning or educating yourself. You retired, you had hopefully Social Security, you had a pension. That's all you had to worry about. But now when you have your own 401k, and let's say you retired with $1 million, the market drops 20%. Now you're down to $800,000. Now you have all this stress on, will this money last throughout the rest of my life? Because again, you are in control of that money. There's no longer your employer or the government taking care of you. Now the burden is all on you. So it's a very stressful thing.
Okay, it's stressful, but we are trying to help you today. We've got more coming up. Stay with us as we dive into some common misconceptions about these accounts. We'll be right back, right here on The Chad Slagle Show.
They say knowledge is power. Whatever you're doing, whatever your goals are, you'll probably never say you know too much. The same is true with retirement. The more you know, the more prepared you'll be for everything in store. And we've made it easy to get started. This free offer is packed with knowledge to help answer some of retirement's biggest questions. It's our gift to you. Don't miss out on this opportunity. Act now and claim your free offer today.
Retirement planning shouldn't feel like guesswork. I'm Chad Slagle, and that's why we created the Slagle Financial GPS, our step-by-step guided planning system. It's not a cookie-cutter approach. It's a customized roadmap built around your goals, designed to bring clarity to your investments, protect what matters most, and help you navigate tax and income with confidence. Take the first step, come meet our team, and discover how the Slagle Financial GPS can guide you to and through retirement. Call today. Your future starts now.
Your dream car, the open road, and freedom. It's just one turn away. So you thought. Even when things look good, hidden problems can ruin your plans. Think of your retirement. At first glance, your investments might seem solid, but under the hood, what kind of risk are you exposed to? And what about taxes, income, healthcare costs? Don't let your retirement dreams stall out. Act now and get your free risk analysis to help keep you in the retirement fast lane.
Welcome back to the Chad Slagle Show. I'm Amy Sharp. Joining me once again is the coach, Chad Slagle. This segment, we're clearing up some common misconceptions about 401ks and workplace retirement accounts. Chad, this is such an important topic. We've really kind of just barely scratched the surface, haven't we?
A very important topic because, again, this is your retirement plan once you retire today. And when we talk about 401ks and the options, there's a lot of different plans out there. We all call them 401ks, which is actually a part of the Internal Revenue Code, but there's a variety of accounts that you can have through work. But it depends on your job and your employer. If you're a teacher or a nurse, you have a 403B or a TSA. If you work for the federal government, you have what's called a thrift savings plan or a TSP account, which a lot of our clients do. If you're self-employed, you may have a simple IRA or a SEP IRA or what's called a solo 401k. Or if you're retired, you may have rolled those accounts over to an IRA. So there's a lot of different qualified accounts out there, not just the 401k. There's a lot of different company plans that you can have. But what you need to understand is the government allows us, all of us, to save tax on the seed. So eventually, when you start drawing the money out, they can tax the crop.
Okay, another misconception as we talk about that today is that people think they don't have control over their 401k. And is that necessarily true?
You have control, but it's limited control. Most 401k plans, you only have about 30 to 40 investment options, and you have to invest in those. If you work for the federal government, you have a TSP plan, there's even fewer investment plans. So you are in control to a certain extent, but there are limitations put on you. Okay,
and that seems like something that a lot of people probably don't even check back on, I imagine. It's like, yep, just set it and forget it. How does someone know what to invest in? How much are these companies working with you to make those decisions, or is that also your responsibility?
A lot of it is your responsibility. A lot of people, like you said, when you're in your 20s, 30s, and 40s, it's just about throwing the money in there, not worrying about it, letting the money grow. Very few people really even look at their plans other than if they get a statement or if you turn on your computer and you pull it up. But when you invest in a 401k or company plan, you need to make sure you're investing in the lower cost funds. You know, when you invest in your 401ks, you have about 30 to 40 investment options. You may have 10 or 15 large cap funds. You may have 5 mid cap funds. You may have 5 small cap funds. But inside of those 10 mid cap funds, you can invest in the mutual funds, which may charge you an average of 1 to 1.25%, or you can invest in the index fund, which is how these mutual funds compare themselves. How are they doing a good job? They compare themselves to the different indexes like the S&P 500 or the Dow Jones. So instead of investing these funds and paying 1 to 1.25%, you can invest in these actual index funds and pay 0.05%. So that's 1 to 1.25% every year that you're putting into your pocket. So think about that. If you look at that over a 10, 20, or a 30, or a 40-year period, you're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars that you're able to save for yourself. So that it's important to understand when investing in these accounts, but again, most people don't look at that. Most people pick out, hey, I'm going to retire in 2055, so I'm going to throw all my money in the 2055 fund. But if you educate yourself and you know what you're looking at, that's a lot more money that you could be putting in your pocket as well as your family's pocket as well. And that is more growth that you're going to have for retirement.
And I think that's such good news for our listeners. It's good to have options. It's good to know that you have some control. Should we be changing our investment approach as we near retirement? Are we able to do that with the 401k once we set it in our workplace?
Great question. Yes. What you need to do is you need to look at your money in 2 different buckets, what you've made and what you could make. You know, an old saying is a bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush, right? So let's say you have $1 million in your account and you're 5 to 10 years from retirement. So you've accumulated some wealth. You need to be more conservative with that money. So that's money you've made. So you need to take that money that you've made inside of your retirement accounts, your 401k accounts, and you need to set that money to the side. And you'd be a little more conservative with that money. Because the last thing you want to do is put that money in. Let's say you put it in there 3 months ago and then the market just dropped 20%. So your $1 million is now down to $800,000. That's money you've already made. Don't risk that money. Now, with the new money that you're putting in every pay period, you want to take a little more risk with that money. Because even if the market's going down as you're pumping that money in every 2 weeks, every pay period, that money is going to grow more because you bought in low, and now as it goes up, you're going to gain even more. That's what we call reverse dollar cost averaging. So again, money you've made and money you could make, you need to split those into 2 different pots. What we find the majority of the time, though, people that are a year, 2 years from retirement, they want to have as much as they can. They get greedy and they react with emotion. We get nervous. But the problem is if you're educated and know what to look at, you're going to end up with a lot more money by having a plan and not reacting with emotion when the market goes up or down.
Yeah, so our 401k, it's obviously very correlated with the market. So that emotion piece is always going to be there for some people. How do you handle that?
Again, do you know how we handle that? Is by building a plan. It's kind of like when you're, the game's on the line. What do we see all the coaches doing? They have these huge laminated sheets, right? They got 55 plays. They know if it's 3rd and 1, we're going to run this play. They know if it's 4th down and inches, we're going to go for it. They know exactly what to do because those are very emotional situations, right, that you're in. The game's on the line. It's the same thing when it comes to retirement. The game's on the line. If you make a mistake, you could be talking hundreds of thousands of dollars that you're not going to have for retirement, and that's going to completely change that lifestyle that you have set up for yourself and your family. It may be the difference of, hey, we can't have that second home. Or you know what, we're not going to be able to take the kids on that one big vacation of the Grand Canyon that we had planned. So you want to make sure that you're proactive and educate yourself on what you have, but also what you could have, and make sure those plans are set up properly.
All right, important information. Stick around. We're going to dive even deeper into this topic. When we come back, we'll break down an important strategy called an in-service withdrawal, and we'll look at how it can work in real life. You won't want to miss it. Stick around.
More is usually better, but not when it comes to taxes and retirement. Tax rates might seem high right now, but these could be the lowest rates you ever see again. Think how that could impact your retirement. The good news is there are strategies you can take advantage of now to help lower your tax bill later and help get the most out of what you've saved for retirement. But don't delay. Time is limited and rates could rise soon. So act now to get your free tax analysis. Help uncover hidden savings and optimize your income in retirement. Take action and claim your free tax analysis now.
Hi, I'm Chad Slagle. At Slagle Financial, we know retirement isn't one size fits all, and it shouldn't feel like guesswork. That's why we created our Slagle Financial GPS, a step-by-step process that helps you build a custom blueprint for retirement. Whether you're focused on protecting your income, leaving a legacy, or simply gaining peace of mind, we'll walk with you every step of the way. Don't leave your future to chance. Schedule a visit with our team and let's get you successfully to and through retirement.
They say knowledge is power. Whatever you're doing, whatever your goals are, you'll probably never say you know too much. The same is true with retirement. The more you know, the more prepared you'll be for everything in store. And we've made it easy to get started. This free offer is packed with knowledge to help answer some of retirement's biggest questions. It's our gift to you. Don't miss out on this opportunity. Act now and claim your free offer today.
Welcome back to the Chad Slagle Show. I'm Amy Sharp here with the coach, Chad Slagle. Now let's talk about a strategy that many people don't even know exists. This is called the in-service withdrawal. How does this work? What is it? How does it fit into this broader retirement strategy that we talk about so often?
Well, today, a lot of people continue to work to 62, 65 years of age or even longer. But if you're over 59 and a half, you definitely want to consider what is called an in-service withdrawal. What that means is you can go in and roll over your 401k or company plan to an IRA. Now, and there's no taxes to do so. The thing is, though, if you're continuing to work, you continue to pump money into your 401k or retirement account because, as we talked about earlier, that's free money that your employer's given you. But now you can take some of that 401k or all of that 401k or retirement plan and roll it over to an IRA. And the advantages of rolling over to an IRA is, number one, it gives you a lot more investing options. As I talked about earlier, inside of your 401k and other company plans, you only have about 30 to 40 options. Now, when you're in that IRA, now you have the whole financial universe at your fingertips to do what's best for you and your family. And the other thing is, you talked earlier about, do you have limited control? You do have limited control in a 401k. In an IRA, though, it puts you in control of your money, not your employer. Also, it's a lot better for your beneficiaries if something were to happen to you, and you can set it up where it's a lot more tax efficient. So there's a lot of benefits to rolling that money to an IRA and getting control of that money as soon as you can. But again, continue to work. If you want to work till 62, 65, keep pumping money into that account. Because again, that is free money that your employer is giving you.
Say that word again. Free money.
Free money, absolutely right.
I just want to make sure everybody heard it. I want to make sure. Okay, you've touched on a couple, but talk about potential drawbacks. We have to kind of know this piece of it as well. Maybe some pitfalls that people need to be aware of when they talk about this.
Well, as we talk about every week on the show, you don't want to wait until you retire to start planning. You know, I had a client that turned 59 and a half back in November. The market was an all-time high mid-December. They executed an in-service withdrawal, rolled the majority of her 401k over to an IRA, locked in all those gains, continued to work and put money into her 401k because, again, her employer gave her that free money. They matched her. So she avoided that 15 to 20% crash. Then all of a sudden, the market comes back to new all-time highs. So because they did the reverse dollar cost averaging, buying in as the market went down, now she has the gains that she's always had. Again, she took that money and split it into two different buckets, what you've made and what you could make. So she held on to that money, didn't lose that $200,000 if the market dropped 20%, but now also has a lot more money because she was buying in as the market goes down. So I don't know if it's a pitfall, but if you do the opposite of what she did, you could be in very big trouble. Again, we're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars just by making a couple of moves inside of that 401k. Because as we talked about earlier, most people set it and forget it. The thing is, you need to look at your statements. You need to be proactive and look at your 401ks. Pull them up on the computer if you don't get statements. I would say every 3 to 6 months, and definitely When the market has shifts, you need to be looking at that and rebalancing when that happens. So again, being proactive, especially if you're within 5 to 10 years of retirement.
You think about so often people, we do, and I'm guilty. I'm raising my hand. I'm guilty. You get those statements and I'll open that later. I know what it is. It's probably, or maybe I don't want to look at it. And again, it's the whole burying your head in the sand type of idea that goes way wrong sometimes if you don't pay attention.
You can't afford to be an ostrich in retirement. You have to be eyes forward, be proactive, and know what you're looking at.
Let's dive a little deeper into the financial GPS while we're on this topic of just planning ahead, because that's what you do with your clients every single day. And we know that GPS looks different. The navigational route is different for every single person, but still they know where they want to go with their retirement and you help them get there.
That's why you have to set goals and you have to have a plan in anything that you do. So the first thing is you need to sit down and figure out, where do you want to be in 3 years, 5 years, 10 years down the road? What does that look like? Because a lot of people think when they get to retirement, they've made it. But this is just the beginning. And I think about retirement. And I have a lot of friends that were fortunate enough to have businesses and retire early. The problem is when they retired, they didn't know what to do. When you retire, you have to have a reason to get out of bed. You have to have some kind of a motivation to get out of bed. What are you going to do every day? Retirement sounds great, but sitting around in your underwear after 2 weeks kind of gets old.
Spouse might be like, let's go.
And you're going to drive your husband or your wife completely nuts. So you need to have hobbies. So you have to think about, what kind of lifestyle do you really want to have in retirement? What's going to get you out of bed? What's going to keep you going? And what kind of income do you have to have coming in? And you have no idea till you're 5 to 10 years out. Really start thinking about, what does life look like for me when I'm retired? Am I going to play golf? Am I going to hunt? Am I going to shop every day? Probably don't want to do that every day, but you really have to think about what are your hobbies and what you want to do, and then build a plan around that.
Okay, not a lot of time left in our segment before we go to the Coach's Corner, but what do you really want to kind of leave us with in terms of this 401k concept? You and I both have young adult children, and we're having this conversation right now with get started now. When you get your first job, get started now, and you see the benefits of it. But there's also work to be done.
And a lot of my clients have been working for 20, 30 years. As you mentioned, when these 401ks first came out, I need that extra money. You really don't need that extra money because, again, if you don't have it in your account, you won't spend it. So I would tell you, max out those 401ks when you're younger, before you have kids and other responsibilities, as much as you can. And then when you get 5 to 10 years from retirement, hopefully you got most of those kids out of the house, then that extra money that you have, don't just set it in your savings account because you're going to get into it. Take that money and make sure that you're maxing out those 401ks or other company plans you have through work.
Okay, important information, very eye-opening as well. Thank you so much. After the break, we'll head into the Coach's Corner, where Chad will explain what you need to do now to make the most of your 401k. Stay with us.
In life, it's good to know what you have to work with. Knowing how many nails you have before building that birdhouse. Knowing how much sugar you have before starting to bake the cake. But do you know how much income you'll be able to count on in retirement? Retirement savings are one thing, but knowing how those savings can turn into income is another. Are you confident you know what your retirement income will look like? Call our team and get a free income analysis today. We can show you what you might expect for income in retirement. Find out now so you won't have to wander later. Call for your free analysis today.
Retirement planning shouldn't feel like guesswork. I'm Chad Slagle, and that's why we created the Slagle Financial GPS, our step-by-step guided planning system. It's not a cookie-cutter approach, it's a customized roadmap built around your goals, designed to bring clarity to your investments, protect what matters most, and help you navigate tax and income with confidence. Take the first step, come meet our team and discover how the Slagle Financial GPS can guide you to and through retirement. Call today, your future starts now.
Your dream car, the open road, and freedom. It's just one turn away. Or so you thought. Even when things look good, hidden problems can ruin your plans. Think of your retirement. At first glance, your investments might seem solid, but under the hood, what kind of risk are you exposed to? And what about taxes, income, healthcare costs? Don't let your retirement dreams stall out. Act now and get your free risk analysis to help keep you in the retirement fast lane.
Welcome back to the Chad Slagle Show. This is the part of our show where we turn it over to the coach. Chad, you're going to help people understand why taking control of their 401k really matters and how you can help. Take it away.
Thanks, Amy. Today, I want to share 3 critical steps you can take to maximize your retirement accounts at work, grow your savings, and take full control of your future. First, make sure you're maxing out your retirement accounts at work if you can. The most important thing here is to take full advantage of the match your employer offers. This is free money they're giving you, and you don't want to leave it on the table. By contributing enough to get that full match, you're essentially giving yourself a pay raise. It's one of the easiest and most effective ways to build up your retirement savings over time. Second, as your retirement accounts grow, take the time to really understand the benefits they give you. Many workplace accounts offer low fees, which can help maximize your long-term growth. But here's an important strategy to consider. As you get close to retirement or as your savings start to grow significantly, think about splitting your retirement savings into 2 different buckets, what you've made and what you could make. Here's what I mean by that. What you've made bucket is about protecting the money you've already earned. It's the foundation of your nest egg. The what could you make bucket is focused on growth and future opportunity. It's about strategically taking measured risk to help your savings continue to work hard for you. By separating your savings this way, you'll have a clear strategy for both safety and growth. Finally, I want to talk about in-service withdrawals. This is an option that not everyone knows about, but it can be a game changer. In an in-service withdrawal, it allows you to take some or all of your 401k or retirement account balance and roll it into an IRA while you're still working with no tax consequences. Here's how it works. You're still contributing to your workplace account and getting that valuable employer match. But now you're rolling over the money you've already made into an IRA. Why is this so powerful? Well, in most 401k or company plans, you're limited to just 3 or 40 investment options. But with an IRA, now you have the whole financial universe at your fingertips to do what's best for you. You'll have access to more investment options that can be tailored to your specific needs and goals. Plus, rolling over to an IRA puts you in control of your money, not your employer. It can be better for your beneficiaries as well. And if set up properly, an IRA can also be a lot more tax efficient. It's about taking the money you've already worked hard to earn and putting it to work in a way that makes the most sense for you and, most important of all, your family. Retirement is one of the biggest financial transitions you'll make in your life. Don't leave it to chance. Max out your accounts, take advantage of what they offer, and explore strategies like the in-service withdrawals to stay in control of your hard-earned dollars. If you're feeling overwhelmed or unsure where to start, my team and I are here to help you. That's where our financial GPS comes in. Imagine getting in your car to take a long trip. You wouldn't set off without a GPS, right? It tells you where you are starting from, where you're headed, and how to get there as efficiently as possible. Well, retirement works the same way. That's exactly why we developed the financial GPS. Our financial GPS does for your retirement what a GPS does for your drive. It helps you figure out where you are financially, what your retirement goals look like, and the best strategies to get there. It takes the guesswork out of planning and gives you a clear step-by-step roadmap to follow. And here's the best part. My team and I are ready to put the financial GPS to work for you. We'll sit down with you, understand your unique goals, and guide you every step of the way. Do not leave your retirement to chance. Reach out today to get started with your very own financial GPS. And remember, folks, retirement is not the beginning of the end. It is a new beginning. That's all for this week. Back to you, Amy.
Thanks, Chad. Great advice to wrap up today's show. And thank you for joining us. Remember, this is your money. Make sure you have a plan that puts you in control. And we'll see you next time right here on The Chad Slagle Show.